Number of folks like, nigga, the show needs to be longer. Welcome back to comedytraphouse News. It's your boy Marvin Telp, and we're going to start this week in the wide world of sports. I don't know, it was an old show, whatever. So, Coco Gauff, 19 years old, just won the U.S. Open, Women's U.S. Open, and that is a massive feat. Okay, and during her press after, she let the world know, like, hey, I had haters, but they motivated me. Like, I was on Twitter, I saw what y'all was tweeting with your Twitter thumbs, I saw it, and she said that motivated her. And she's heard it. She's heard it since she was 15 years old, when she won her first championship at Linz. Now, mind you, she's 15, right now she's 19, beating adults, okay? People were like, oh, she's the next Venus, Serena, and other people were like, she's a bum. There was a very, very wide margin of who this woman, this kid was and who she was going to become. So she's 19 years old and she gives this press conference and everyone's like, well, what do you mean? And she was like, listen, folks, I kept receipts. She pulled out the Dion on y'all. We keeps receipts. And when you're an athlete or someone that's in a competitive arena, you use whatever you can to get you motivated. And instead of just being like, hey, we heard you, we got it, people said this. She received more backlash. One, oh, here you are at the top and you're still worried about haters. All right, relax. And then there was this one. She's not the first to feel this way, but you don't say it in front of all these people. First of all, listen, we are tired of code switching. The other thing is black people. When we win, celebrate our wins. We are oddly one of the first people to attack us for doing something great. Let her have her moment. Let them know that she saw her haters. She kept receipts. And guess what? I won. Okay? She won. So we don't know what her career is going to be because she's only 19 years old. Will she be Venus or Serena? We don't know because we didn't know who they were until the end of their careers. Okay? So let her win. Let her celebrate and let her call out the people. All I got to say here is rumble, young woman, rumble. Speaking of rumbling, bumbling, and tumbling, Daniel Cavalente of 34 rumbled and bumbled and tumbled his ass out of Chester County Prison, and he is still loose. He was convicted of murdering his girlfriend. I don't know what happened, but that's what he was convicted of, and he's set to do a life sentence in Chester County Prison. He escaped on August 31st. Okay, and if you don't know what Chester County is one of those counties right outside of Philly where you ask somebody where they're from and they'll be like, oh, I'm from Philly, but then someone from Philly will be like, where are you from in Philly? And they'll be like, oh no, I'm from Chester County. It's that type of place. Like, it's not really Philly, it's like Philly adjacent. Anyway, he's escaped and they set up like a whole perimeter. Like, we got him locked into the perimeter and all this other stuff, and then he broke the perimeter. And I would say in all of this is police incompetency. That's what I would go out on a limb and admit. It was my first thought. Not gonna hold you. But when I saw how the man escaped, I was like, oh no, you can't be mad at him. He's a superhero. He scaled a wall backwards. This is just a mid shot. Look at him. Ladies and gentlemen, he is horizontal walking up the wall. Michael's moonwalk was never this clean, okay? And then he disappeared. That can't be incompetency. Who would predict that the man would escape like that? And then the police came out and said another convict escaped the same way back in May. Like, I was like, we're going to give the police the benefit of the doubt, but then you get that. Y'all knew this was his escape route. It worked already. So y'all just handing out get out of jail free cards to folks, because that's what you have to do. Everyone in the prison knows how to get out now, and you was like, all right, roll the dice, take a chance. And that's exactly what you handed out to a convicted murderer. Now, they say he's not armed right this second. They're saying he did steal a car and ran out of gas because he doesn't have any money. But he is in the backwoods of Pennsylvania. So be careful, because he's still loose. This is what he looks like right this second. Clean shaven, trying to look different. I'm guessing that's a Phillies hat, because that's the only way we really talk about them any other way. Ooh, shout out to Phillies.
Right.
But again, be safe, call the police. Like, if you see him, those people that are in that Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, West Virginia, be safe. Seriously, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for him the same way Bill Maher is keeping an eye out for race. I mean, I guess he's actually not trying to keep an eye out for race. Play the clip.
Get you like a guy who they're worried about because you don't toe the line.
They should be. Exactly.
You're like a 90s liberal. You're like liberals back when they were more reasonable, before they became leftists. And now every liberal kind of has to be a leftist. It's not, if you want to be on the team, you got to subscribe to the most fringe ideas that the team is promoting. And I get in trouble with that too. It's such a, I mean, there's so many, like Joe List has talked about that recently, the comic Joe List, very funny guy. And he was talking about, he's like, I'm a 90s liberal. He goes, what? I didn't change. It's like everybody else kind of changed. It got real weird, like what you're allowed to disagree with and not to disagree with. And, it's strange.
I'm always trying to make the case that liberal is a different animal than woke.
Yeah.
Because it is. And you can be woke with all the nonsense that now implies, but don't say that somehow it's an extension of liberalism.
Right.
Because it's most often actually an undoing of liberalism. So you can have your points of view and your positions on these things, but don't try to piggyback on what I've always believed. I have always believed, as liberals do, for example, in a colorblind race at all, anywhere, for any reason.
Yes.
That's what liberals always believed all the way through. Obama, going back, Kennedy, everybody, Martin Luther King. That's not what the woke believe. They believe race is first and foremost the thing you should always see everywhere, which I find interesting because that used to be the position of the Ku Klux Klan, that we see race first and foremost everywhere.
Yeah.
So, again, you can have that position, but don't say that's a liberal position. You're doing something very different.
I think the idea behind it, I think I understand their idea. The idea is that the society is imbalanced. And so in order to address that imbalance, you're going to prop up as many minorities as possible, make as many opportunities for minorities as possible, and get it to a position where there are, like, white people are a minority. And so that's not a concern anymore. And that through that, somehow or another, you'll achieve equality. I think the way to achieve equality is your way. I think the colorblind way is the way to really truly achieve equality, and to truly judge people just on their merits. But also recognize that if we don't address the problems in this country as far as like how disenfranchised some people are and how horrible some communities are that people grow up in and people find themselves stuck in, with no recourse, no way out, no role models, no nothing, no financial opportunities. That's what our real problem is in this country, more than it is race. It's extreme poverty and extreme crime, and that these things don't get addressed over and over and over again. And in fact, a lot of the policies that you see coming from places like San Francisco and Portland, and they just exacerbate it. You're just seeing stores close because, like, okay, you can't just steal Can't just have everybody just walk in a
I know.
Walmart and steal. I was watching a video where they were showing a Walgreens and they had everything chained up.
And we played the long clip because I wanted everyone to hear, I guess, the back and forth between the two of them. And it's one of those things where someone that says they are a liberal, or anyone really, that white and speaks on race has this weird take. It's something that actually, it really grinds my gears. Yes, that is a Family Guy reference, and is also one of my favorite segments on Family Guy. And so, with that introduction, we're going to go to one of our favorite segments on Comedy Trap House News, and it is
Need help, get help.
And the reason why this is going to get the time and dedication and work of a Need Help, Get Help segment is because there are some key things that were spoken about, some which you can agree, some which you will probably disagree. But what happens is it becomes something that gets distracting. So I want to go in and break down why we should not see race, why liberals or Americans don't see race, and it's only, I guess, the fringe left that really sees it. So we'll go into one of the things he said was Obama, right? And he was like, hey, when Obama was doing his thing, we liberals didn't see race, right? And I was like, that's true. So I pulled up some old Obama campaign photos because I thought those would be important. And we had this one that I thought was, no, that's, no. All right, no, not that one. We have the other, what's the other campaign photo from Obama? Oh, wait a minute. You're right. Because there is no way that a monkey and a black man would be synonymous. That's not racism, guys. That's just coincidence. There are no other monkey president photos anywhere. And listen, I actually looked. Nope, but Obama, it is. But guys, let's not make this about race because this isn't about race. What else do we have? Oh, the policing in the country, right? Because officers don't see race, right? Like, they had this whole campaign to bring together, Blue Lives Matter. That is actually in response to Black Lives Matter. And not Black Lives Matter, the organization, because Blue Lives Matter, this flag came out in October of 2014. And it was in response to two cops that were shot and killed in New York City. They were sitting in a car, chilling. Someone ran up, popped them twice. Pop, pop, moved on. And that is tragic. That is a tragic thing. But what the Blue Lives Matter is a direct response to is the saying Black Lives Matter, which was just black people saying, hey, don't just be out here killing us. Now, it is the banner for the right side anytime you want to bring up anything about police justice in this world. But let's not get off course. Let's get back to the fact that things aren't about race, ladies and gentlemen. And let's go to, what did he bring up? Poverty-stricken towns and cities. And we know that some of the highest crimes and some of the worst education are in these highly populated towns, which just happen to be densely black. But let's look at the big picture here. I don't want to focus on the negative. The big picture is, if you argue, for argument's sake, let's say the black population in this country is 22 to 25%. That's argument's sake, okay? Because officially, it's 12.5%. But I know we don't answer doors when strange white people come up to try to take a census. I'm not doing that. You might be trying to take my kids. I can't open the door. So let's say, arguably, 20 to 25% of the nation's population is black. So I'm not saying that, A, jobs should be 50-50, because that's just really not how the numbers go. But I'm saying, A, in corporate America, we should have at least 12 to 15% of black people in these higher powers if race is not an issue, right? So let's go into just, I guess, C-suites across the nation. It's got to be a high, 5.9%. Ooh, that's a low number. All right, let's higher power. Like let's see who really are running these Fortune 500. That's 1.6% of all Fortune 500. But Black America is 13% of the labor force. So if you do the carry the one. Shit. All right. The facts are supporting the no race thing. All right, let's here's one that we cannot throw race on, right? And it is the opioid problem that we are having in this country right this second, right? We have a massive opioid problem. And so I remember when I was younger and we had the massive crack problem, and the government's response was, that's right, a war on drugs. A war on drugs, because crack was affecting black folk at a number egregiously higher than any other race in this country. It was a war on drugs. And so part of the issue is when you know race is an actual thing, right? You know it. We see it every day. Let's not pretend that it doesn't exist. The problem is when you have someone like a Bill Maher, who everyone believes he's this great liberal, and Bill Maher says a bunch of dumb things out of his mouth all the time. But then you get Fox to run things like this. The clip. Got it, guys.
For refusing to stand up to the left's woke nonsense. Bill Maher thinks it's time for the president to grow a spine.
One of the things I hate the most about Biden is that he never stands up to woke nonsense in his party. He also doesn't want to fight that wing of his party. He knows that's where a lot of the energy is in the party.
Now you have Fox running, which that host is one of the trashiest people in the world, but Fox tends to find those guys. Anyway, now becomes a talk point for conservatives. And I believe this wholeheartedly. I believe if you sit down with people from the right and people from the left and actually have a real conversation, most people kind of want similar things, and it kind of falls in the middle, and it's very moderate. And both parties are being pushed by their extreme factions, okay? But what happens is now you undermine any progress of discussing race in this country as a valid point. And we know it's a valid point. We know it's something that's important. We know that it needs to be discussed because we understand that when you go and you look at how states are redistricting, how money is being distributed to our education system, the number of black people in the prison system versus the number of white people. Race is a massive problem in this country. So for some white man to sit there and try to downplay it as if it's something simple is problematic, especially when someone is looking for a clip. And is some of this a little extreme? Yes. But I hate the term, this whole woke agenda, because woke agenda is not what white people don't understand it to be. Woke is just saying, hey, you are aware to the problems and you understand what's going on. You're not being blindly led like a sheep. Now we got some crazy people who believe some really eccentric things, but the idea of woke and the terminology itself is not something that should be beat. But if you don't understand how to use it, don't. It's like the N-word. You don't understand how to use it, don't use it. Now, this last point that Bill made was a very interesting point because he condemned Biden for not saying anything about the fringe of his party. Well, what about the fringe of the Republican Party? Because as long as this man is the top candidate for the GOP, that means you've forgotten about, I guess, what happened at Mar-a-Lago after the presidency, where he stole all these classified documents. Before that, how about this one? You know, the one I'll never let them forget. He tried to overthrow the country, guys. He legitimately was like, the election is false. Let's overthrow it. So as long as you're sitting there saying what you want, as long as white people are walking into churches, Tops grocery stores, dollar stores, and shooting black people, you can miss me with all of the absolute bullshit that race doesn't matter. Race is important, we know it is, and until we actually sit down, honor it, discuss it, and try to repair the damages of it, we're going to stay in this cycle. So, Mr. Bill Maher, shut the fuck up. And that is our time for Need Help Get Telp and comment. Well, we're just going into the comments right now. What you got, guys? What's happening? 40-0 is crazy. 40-0 is crazy. That is the score of the Giants-Cowboys game. And everyone thought the Giants were going to make that next big step forward. It was like this. The Giants, they made it to the playoffs last year. Mind you, they won a bunch of really, really close games. And they made it to the playoffs. Then they beat the Minnesota Vikings. And we were like, oh my God, they beat the Minnesota Vikings. It was Kirk Cousins. Stop playing. But they come out and they lay an absolute egg. Why? Because they gave Daniel Jones this crazy, phenomenal contract extension that he really hadn't earned. 30% of the offense went through Saquon Barkley last year, the guy they didn't want to sign. 30% of the offense. That's Justin Jefferson number with the Vikings, okay? It's extreme. The Giants were the Giants. They were who we thought they were. But the Cowboys didn't let them off the hook. What else we got? We squared that away with Patrick already. Yes. Congrats. That's what I'm saying. Like, listen, see, here's something. This is something. If you just look through the chat, the way black women support black women is amazing to me. We just need to, as black men, hop on that same wagon and supporting all of us. Because we'd be quick to change up on them. What else we got? Whites talking about being white. Right. Imagine that. As usual, they took something over. They took over. Yep. That's woke. I've not seen that clip of Ice Cube, but Ice Cube is not, I'm not fucking with Ice Cube right now either. Y'all saw the clip of Ice Cube. He needs to sit down too. No, what? Lil Trasky, if you there, what came out about Google's pay discrimination? If not, I'll look it up. But if you can throw something in there while we're doing this, I would love to see it and comment it. Oh well, I mean, I think the problem is you get white people who really do think they're in tune with what's going on, right? Like they really do feel like they have a beat of what's happening in the nation, and so they're going, well, it's not about this, it's about this. And it's like, no, you cannot cut a piece of you can't cut the sleeve of a shirt off and be like, the problem is the sleeve. No, the sleeve was attached to the shirt. The entire shirt is the issue. You can't pick and choose whatever part you want to say. It's like when you go to some of those churches and they pick the one line of one verse and don't read the entire Bible verse in context. And then they want to tell you, you got to live your life off of this. But the sentence before, it says, no. But we're talking about this chapter in this verse. It's misleading. What else we got? Jeremy winning FBA. Oh, listen, dude. Germany won. They beat the US. And then they beat Serbia. And here in the States, no one really cares about the FIBA World Cup and basketball. The rest of the world really does. And I think we won't care until we lose a couple more times. And then we'll put together a team just to remind everyone how good we were. That's what the Dream Team was. That's what the Redeem Team was. And I think you'll see it in a few more years if we keep taking these L's. Like if we don't do well at the Olympics, best believe the next run is going to be a team of superstars. just to remind the world, like, hey, you beat our good players, but you didn't beat our best players. Would you rather have to do a backflip before entering or leaving a room, or get in a car, or all your shoes become roller skates? I do the backflip. That's easy. Like, do the backflip, go into the room. As long as I got leg space, because I'm tall, I'll do the backflip. I can't be everywhere with roller skates on. That don't make no sense. For those of you that can't do a backflip, you should probably just put some roller skates on, because either way, you're going to break your neck. Is Aaron Rodgers going to win tonight? I don't know. We've not seen what the Jets actually look like all preseason. If we base it off of what we had last year, I think the Jets win. I think they had a top 5 defense easily, but that was a year ago. Things change. We really have no idea who the Jets are, and you know, effectively, first week games are a lot like preseason games. And I wish teams would kind of use the preseason a little better so that their teams would be ready to go full speed, but they don't. So I don't know. We shall see. Patrick, we squared this away already. I feel like white people should discuss anything about race without other. I think that's. I kind of get what you're saying, that other races should be involved, but I think part of the issue is then sometimes you get black people who have transcended, because those are the people they want to talk to. They want to talk to the black celebrities who everyone knows, who really no longer have a beat on what's happening. If you're going to have a conversation about race, it needs to be in communities with people that are on the ground. You know, like the Miss Shirley, who is at every district event, who feeds the homeless every year, who does everything, and she lives in the projects. But she understands that the more she can do to give back, the better the community is. That's the person who needs to have the conversation about race, because she sees it and she lives it and she's exposed to it, as opposed to, you know, LeBron James, who grew up in it, and I'm not going to, and is doing phenomenal things for it, but his life is different. So he's not experiencing the same level of racism, because his racism is getting involved now with his classism. His classism has exceeded his racism. We like him more. White people love LeBron. They'll leave him in their house with things left out, diamond rings and dollars and everything else, because, oh, he's LeBron James and he's different. Anytime white people can have an exception to the rule for a black person, then you're going to miss parts of that conversation. It has to be someone on the ground floor. LeBron already declared he's playing the next. LeBron's going to be 85 years old. LeBron shouldn't make it to the next Olympics. Tell him to sit the fuck down. Why Team USA? Oh, we don't take money. Period. We're in the great United States of America. It's about money. There's no real money that comes with FIBA basketball recognition. So am I going to risk my $300 million contract to come play basketball just to prove that I'm better than the rest of the world? The answer is typically no. Right? Like, if we actually put a Dame and a Steph and a LeBron and a KD and put in real players and real, like, team role players and defenders, and actually built a FIBA team, I think we do exactly what we did many times before. We've run away against most of the world, and I still think we beat the best of the world by at least 20. Right? Because you're going to have to see your Lucas, who's an all-star in this league. But, you know, someone like Dennis Schroeder, he led Germany to a win. He's not driving down the lane when there's actual real centers and real defense and real rotation. I just think the money doesn't match. So as long as the money doesn't match, the U.S. doesn't really care about FIBA World Basketball. The Olympics, a little different because it's bragging rights. But that's really what it is. Where are we at? O'Kane is the county mayor. Nice. Does he wear the mask? No, I know he doesn't wear the mask, but it would be nice if he wear the mask. What is that? Did he cover the girl getting hit with a brick being a scam?
Oh yeah.
No, I did not. Did not cover that. Brandon, was that proven or just another person talking about what they think? Oh, right. No. They pulled up the old video of her pulling the same. Oh, damn. I didn't see.
It's proven.
It's proven that it's a scam?
She's a nurse. She put silicone in her face.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna cover that next week because I gotta look into it more. But there were so many up in the air things. I was like, we try to deliver news and not just guessing most times. Sometimes I just get in my bag and I don't really care. Okay, that's the conversation. Anything else before we get out of here today? One of the things, remember guys, like, subscribe, comment when we're in the chat. If you super chat, it makes it much easier to see your chat so we can kind of get it on the fly, and also do some things. Oh, see, I actually saw it wasn't a scam. That's what I'm saying. Like it's still back and forth, but the last Emmanuel just said it's confirmed that it was a scam.
Scammer.
So
go watch Mayhem Hour.
Oh, go watch Mayhem Hour, guys. They've already covered it. So why are we here? Anyway, that's our time today. Remember, like, subscribe, share, click. Let's keep growing the page. I heard a number of you are saying, hey guys, it should be longer. And I agree with you. When we get more subscribers, then we can do that. Because people who don't know aren't clicking on hour and 40 long videos to figure out some new show. So if we can help grow it, we can help extend it. That's it. We are out here. See you next week. Peace.